Hello, and happy Sunday to you all. I wanted to discuss the time I heard my higher mind speak directly to me, what it felt like, and what the message was. I believe that the saying is true that our deepest fear isn't that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It took me 8 years to try meditation again after my first try because I was so put off by my first experience. I was not sure what would happen and open up for me if I had made meditation a daily practice, but it took much sadness and hardship to bring me back to the practice. After I had left my marriage of 16 years and was in solitude for a while, as we all were in 2020, I happened to stumble upon a book called Ask and It Is Given, written by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Esther is a medium through which a non physical entity that goes by the name of Abraham Hicks speaks through her. In this book, there was a lot of guidance on the importance of meditation, and that if we were to commit at least 15 minutes a day to this exercise, we would experience positive changes in our life. I wasn't so sure how I felt about channeling, as I did not fully understand the concept at the time, but the advice on the meditation changed my life in many ways. When I started to meditate earnestly, I noticed that my body felt heavy at first, which immediately led me to question heavy as opposed to what exactly. I decided to put a pin in that thought by simply focusing on my physical body. I was taking note of the slowed rhythm of my breath and being as present as I possibly could be. What I mean by being present is that I found a way to slow down the bombardment of constant worries and idle thoughts. Once I became aware of them, I figured out how to silence them. The moment I stopped focusing on the heaviness of my body, which was the final thought I had learned to let go of, it allowed me to release the idea of my physicality completely. I then began to actually feel lighter. Lighter in the sense that I could feel a slight pull upwards through the crown of my head. I was in touch with the very essence of my nature, but still, of course, attached to my physical body. Eventually, a few months into my new practice, I began to feel as though I was within a viscous substance whenever I would get past my last thought and be deeper into my focused meditation. If I can compare it to anything in efforts to properly describe it, I would say it feels like being in deep water. This was a feeling of constant motion, of back and forth or side to side, like a current. I felt a very gentle rocking within, and I would also feel a sense of love emanating from me while being loved concurrently. It feels like a river of love, a constant flow of positive energy. Once I began to feel this each and every time, I no longer timed myself and would just hold the meditation for as long as I could. It's an intense focus that takes time to build, much like how when we exercise and strengthen our muscles over time. I know this feeling so well that I can immediately identify its sensation once I have found it. Early on, it was my inclination to bring any issue that I was having into my meditation for answers. But once I was in this feeling of love, whatever concern I had in my mind prior to just did not matter here. I did not want to mess it up with any problems because by the time I reached this place of peace, they no longer mattered to me. Everything was okay here. Issues seemed so small, and while meditating, all I could care about is the feeling of love and the visceral well being I felt. I did not want this feeling to end. There is, however, one specific time early into my meditative practice that I decided to finally ask a question about a project that I would like to have completed. I sat down, asked the question in my mind, and immediately was met with the answer, "It's already done." It was an audible thought sent to me, but it also sounded just like my voice. At the time that I was hearing this, I also felt a warm rush of love going through my chest area. It radiated from my heart and warmed the entire upper half of my body and extended outward all around me. My senses expanded outward in the immediate area around my physical body. At the same moment I heard the voice, I saw the universal female symbol in my mind you often see on the door of restrooms, which was a solid black circle over a solid black triangle. All of these sensations at once were a bit overwhelming. I immediately opened my eyes and got up from my meditation pose on the floor. That was enough for the day, I thought. albeit very cool, and also knew I had seen and experienced enough for that day. I needed to process what had just occurred. I did not understand this response because, from my perspective, it was in fact not already done. The project would take work, so besides the warm, inviting feeling, which was amazing to experience, I was still left very confused. The next day, I decided to listen to an Abraham Hicks lecture on YouTube, and during that lecture, Abraham mentioned that when we have a desire, it's done, it's done, it's already done. In fact, Abraham repeated this so many times in rapid succession that the audience began to laugh and my eyes widened in disbelief. There was no room for confusion, as I knew I was meant to hear this exact video at this exact time. I had to stop the video and collect myself because I had just heard this message a day prior, and now this? OMG. I suppose my higher self knows that I can be a little hard-headed. Even simple concepts from spirit can seem confusing, and this was my validation that what I heard was indeed true. To trust that my desire was indeed already done, and that there was no need to worry or doubt my own ability. I'm still learning to have certainty and doubtless confidence in myself and the things I want to have in this life. Anyway, I hope this message helps someone in any way possible to believe in yourself and the dreams that you have for your life. I want to say thanks so much for listening, and next week, join me as I speak about my first out-of-body experience that I had. Until next time.